I still remember the exact moment the message arrived. 14:37 on October 12, 2024. We were on the 23rd floor of the Fontainebleau Miami Beach. We sat by the infinity pool that looks out over the Atlantic. The sun hung high. The water sparkled like glass. Sarah wore big sunglasses and the green dress she picked for our 15th wedding anniversary photo. She gave me her iPhone 15 Pro. "Get the ocean in the shot," she said with her usual smile. Right then, a notice slid down the screen. A video from Jay. The preview showed our main bedroom back in Charlotte. I tapped play before she could take the phone. It ran for 37 seconds. Clear as day. Sarah on our king bed, the one from the furniture store for $8,200. She wore the special underclothes I gave her last Christmas. The man's voice from behind the camera was low and sure. It asked her to say it once more. She did. Each word cut deep. I stopped the video, locked the phone, handed it back. "Good shot," I said. She had no idea I watched it. That night we walked the red path into the restaurant at 1930. The host knew our names. I booked the corner table with the ocean view 6 months before. We had the fresh fish starter, the duck pasta, and a bottle of red wine from 2019, $312 before the tip. I signed the $487 bill on our shared credit card. I lifted my glass, looked her right in the eye. To 15 more years of building our life. She tapped her glass to mine. Her eyes lit up. She thought we both meant it. She watched the moon on the waves. At 23:15, I stepped away to the washroom. In there, with the white marble walls, I opened the bank app. I took my name off as the main holder. The card would stop all charges after midnight. I moved the last $6,833 of the hotel cost to her other card, the one she added for quick needs back in July. Done at 23:19. My name is David Allen Reynolds. I am 47. I work as a lead engineer on building frames at the Charlotte office of a big firm. I hold licenses in 3 states. My pay is $168,000 a year. Last year's extra check was $41,200 after taxes. My retirement fund sits at $1,140,000. My stock account at the bank holds $428,000. In 19 years, I have not missed one day of work. Our home is at 7218 Providence Road in Charlotte. It is 4,200 square feet, built in 2009, worth about $1,310,000 now. The house loan is $3,180 each month. It pulls from our shared bank account. 2 cars in the drive. My 2022 truck, paid in full. Her 2023 SUV, rent $789 a month from the dealer. Sarah is 39. She sells medicine for a drug company. She covers 2 states. Her base pay is $92,000. Her sales at $78,000 on average. Last year, she took home $142,000 after taxes. She often said the late nights were for client meals. I trusted her words. That trust broke when the signs grew too clear to miss. It began in small ways. In March 2024, $800 came out in cash from the bank machine on Fairview Road. Every other Friday at 1742. In April, a second money app account, linked to an email I did not know. In May, $1,200 hit a hotel bill in Raleigh. On a night her work list said group meeting. I made copies of every bank paper, kept screenshots in a locked folder named Taxes 2024. In our state, one person can record talks without telling the other. In June, I added a record tool to my phone. For 3 months, it saved every talk near the device, in the kitchen, bedroom, garage. I hold 23 files of the man's voice in our home. Time stamped. Locations marked. Solid proof. Rebecca Holt has been my lawyer since 2016. That year, I drew the base for her family's lakeside house. I trust her like I trust the steel in a bridge. At 2:40 that night in Miami, I sat on the balcony. City lights spread below. I wrote the email. Title, Start the Split Papers, Need to File Monday. Files added. The video, for months of bank records, money app logs, hotel bills, and a list of dates in a simple sheet. She wrote back at 3:12. Got it. Papers ready by 8 o'clock Monday. Keep steady. You set the path now. At 6 o'clock next morning, I showered, shaved close, put on the dark suit from my father's service. I packed my clothes bag in wool case. No words spoken. I rolled her 2 travel bags to the front room. Set the flight ticket, now stopped, on top. Flight number DL-1278 at 11:05. I wrote one note on hotel paper. Enjoy your new man. You'll need him to pay. I left the room at 6:47. The door shut with a soft click. The lift dropped 23 floors in 41 seconds. I crossed the front hall, past the water fountain, stepped into the warm Miami dawn. The parking man brought my rent car at 6:53. I drove up Collins Avenue, joined the main road north, and drove on without a glance behind. The air smelled of salt and new starts. I felt the weight lift, line by line. I landed at Charlotte Douglas at 13:42. The sky was low and gray, the way it gets in October when the leaves start to turn. I drove straight to the office on Tyvola Road. No one expected me until Tuesday. That was the point. I walked past the front desk, nodded to Marie, and took the elevator to the 5th floor. My corner office still smelled of fresh coffee from Friday. I opened the safe behind the framed ASC award and removed the backup drive. Every document I had gathered for months now lived there, copied twice more to 2 separate cloud folders only I could reach. At 15:10, Rebecca called. Papers are filed. Summons served at the Pfizer office at 14:55. She signed for it herself. I asked no questions about Sarah's face. I did not need to. Rebecca continued. We froze the joint accounts at 15:03. Truist and Bank of America both confirmed. She can still see the balances, but nothing moves without both signatures now. I thanked her, calm as always. Control is not loud. It is quiet and final. I spent the next hour on the phone with the insurance agent. I removed Sarah from my $2 million term life policy and from the umbrella coverage. New beneficiary, the trust one set up last year for our 2 nephews. Premium stayed the same. At 16:27, I changed every password I owned. Work server, retirement portal, Fidelity, Vanguard, even the Ring doorbell account. I watched the live feed as the garage camera caught her Lexus pulling in at 2019. She sat in the driver's seat for 9 full minutes. Engine running. Lights on. She knew the code would not work. The house phone rang at 20:31. I let it ring out. My cell lit up at 20:33. Unknown number. I declined. Text message at 20:35. David, please call me. This is a mistake. I saved the screenshot. Another text at 20:38. I'm at the house. Where are you? Screenshot. Another at 20:42. The card isn't working at the hotel. They want payment. Screenshot. I placed the phone face down and poured 2 fingers of Woodford Reserve. Neat. No ice. The first sip tasted like victory. Rebecca had already contacted Jason Keller's employer. Pfizer has strict non-fraternization rules for managers and direct reports. By 9 o'clock Monday, the regional VP received the video file, the hotel receipts, and the recorded calls. Jason was placed on unpaid leave at 10:17. His company Lexus was towed from the South Park garage by 11:30. His access badge deactivated. His name removed from the sales leaderboard in the lobby. Word travels fast in that world. Sarah tried the garage code again at 21:04. Failed. She rang the doorbell 12 times. The ring notification showed her standing there in the same green dress, mascara starting to run. I watched for 30 seconds, then turned the phone off. She left at 21:23. Tires squealed on Providence Road. I slept in the guest room at my brother's house in Waxhaw that night. Clean sheets. No memories on the walls. Tuesday morning, I met Rebecca at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse at 8:30. We filed the equitable distribution inventory. Every asset listed. House. Retirement accounts. The 2022 Tacoma. Her Lexus lease, still $789 monthly for 22 more months. My attorney attached the bank records showing $18,400 in cash withdrawals over 7 months. Hotel charges in Raleigh, Atlanta, Charleston. All on nights, she claimed overtime. The judge granted temporary exclusive use of the house to me at 10:05. Sarah had until 1700 hours Friday to remove personal items under sheriff's supervision. At 11:12, I received an email from the Fontainebleau accounting office. The $6,833 balance had been paid at 9:44 Tuesday morning from Jason Keller's personal Visa. I forwarded it to Rebecca without comment. At 13:30, Sarah's mother called from Ohio. I let it go to voicemail. She left no message. By 1600 hours Wednesday, the story had spread through the Pfizer sales chat. 2 reps texted me privately, men I coached at industry conferences. They attached screenshots of Jason bragging about the Miami trip in the group chat dated October 10th. I saved everything. Evidence is armor. Thursday at 14:20 the locksmith arrived. New Medico deadbolts front and back. New codes on the garage. Quickset smart locks tied only to my phone. Cost $1,180. Money well spent. At 16:45 the cleaning crew came. 2 women from Molly Maid. They removed every trace of her from the master bedroom. Sheets to the wash. Perfume bottles to a labeled box in the garage. Makeup drawer emptied. $340 total. I paid cash. Friday at 16:58 the sheriff's deputy supervised Sarah's removal. She arrived in an Uber Black. Took 4 medium boxes and 3 garment bags. The deputy's body camera recorded every item. She tried to speak to me through the Ring intercom. I did not answer. At 17:12 the deputy locked the door behind her. The house was mine again. Silent. Ordered. Under control. That night I grilled a ribeye on the big green egg. Medium rare. Baked potato. Glass of the same Woodford. I ate on the back deck watching the sun set over the 8th fairway of Providence Country Club. The air was cool. Calm returned like an old friend. I had lost nothing that mattered. I had only removed what no longer belonged. Monday morning, 8:15, I walked into the Truist branch on Providence Road. The same branch where Sarah and I opened our joint account in 2009. I sat across from branch manager Carla Hayes. She remembered us from the mortgage closing. I slid the court order across the desk. Temporary restraining order on all joint funds. Carla read it twice, nodded once. And within 6 minutes the checking balance of $42,310 and savings of $38,900 were split 50-50 into 2 new individual accounts. My half moved to a new account in my name only. Sarah's half stayed frozen until the judge ruled on dissipation. At 9:30, I met the forensic accountant Rebecca hired, Mark Whitlock, former IRS special agent. Charges $425 per hour. Worth every dollar. I handed him the thumb drive with 7 months of statements. By 1400 hours, he had traced $23,770 in questionable transfers. Venmo payments to JK, labeled lunch refund. Zelle to a Cash App tagged $JSONK 911. Apple Cash gifts on nights she was at book club. Mark built a color-coded spreadsheet. Red columns for every dollar that left our life and landed in Jason's. The total made even Rebecca raise an eyebrow. Tuesday at 10 o'clock Pfizer's HR director called Rebecca directly. They wanted to avoid publicity. They offered Sarah a separation agreement. Resign quietly, keep the last paycheck, forfeit the $18,000 bonus due in December, sign the non-disclosure. She signed by 14:22. Her employee badge deactivated at 14:25. Her company email bounced by 14:30. The Pfizer parking decal peeled off her Lexus windshield by security at 14:45. 15 years of climbing the ladder ended in one afternoon. Jason did not fare better. Wednesday at 11:05 the regional VP terminated him for cause. Gross violation of conduct policy. No severance. No unused vacation pay. The leased Porsche 911 was due back at Hendrick Porsche by 1700 hours Thursday, or daily fees applied. His apartment lease in South Park required proof of income. The manager already received the HR letter. 30 days to vacate. Thursday at 15:40, I received a call from the Lexus dealership. Sarah had missed the October payment. The lease was now 31 days past due. Repossession notice mailed. I informed them the vehicle was marital property subject to court order. They paused the repo until the judge signed. That cost Sarah $789 she no longer had coming in. Friday morning Rebecca filed the motion for interim distribution. She requested $12,000 monthly temporary support from me until the final hearing, reduced by the $23,770 Sarah removed without consent. The judge scheduled the hearing for 9 o'clock on November 12th. Sarah's attorney, a young associate from a small firm in Ballantyne, requested a continuance. Denied. Court does not reward delay. That same Friday at 16:20 Sarah showed up at my brother's house in Waxhaw. She drove a 2018 Honda Accord borrowed from her cousin. She stood on the porch holding a manila envelope. My brother recorded the entire exchange on his phone from the sidelight window. She asked to speak to me. I was not there. She left the envelope. Inside, a handwritten letter, for pages, begging for another chance. She claimed Jason meant nothing. She blamed stress, long hours, feeling invisible. I read it once, photographed each page, and placed the original in the evidence folder. Emotions do not erase facts. Saturday, I played golf at Providence Country Club. Tee time 7:30. Shot a respectable 84. The men in the foursome asked where Sarah was. I told them the truth. We are separated, papers filed. No drama. No details. They nodded. Offered quiet support. That is how men handle these things. Sunday evening at 1900 hours, I cooked chili in the slow cooker. Ground chuck from the fresh market, 2 cans of fire-roasted tomatoes, McCormick seasoning. Enough for 4 days. I ate at the kitchen island. No television, just the sound of the refrigerator humming. The house felt larger. Cleaner. Mine. Monday, November 11th, Veterans Day, the courthouse was closed. I spent the morning organizing the garage. I boxed Sarah's holiday decorations, 6 plastic tubs labeled in her handwriting. I moved them to the far corner behind the lawnmower. Out of sight. Not discarded. The judge would decide later. At 14:10, Jason's mother called from Ohio. Same area code as Sarah's parents. She asked if I would show mercy and delete the recordings. I told her politely that all evidence was in the hands of attorneys and the court. She cried. I listened for 23 seconds, then ended the call. Mercy is earned. They taught their son none. By 1700 hours, Rebecca sent the final exhibit list. 47 separate documents. Bank records. Hotel receipts. Text messages recovered from Sarah's iCloud backup. The 37-second video file. Mark Whitlock's forensic report. Pfizer termination letter. Lexus lease in default. Everything numbered, tabbed, and bound in 3 black binders. Ready for court at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I showered at 2000 hours. Laid out a navy suit, white shirt, burgundy tie. Polished the Allen Edmonds shoes I wore to my first day at Kimleyhorn in 2005. I set the alarm for 5:45. Sleep came easy. The next day would not be about anger. It would be about order. About consequences delivered calmly, completely, and without appeal. Tuesday, November 12th, 2024, 8:47. I walked into courtroom 5310 at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. The air smelled of polished wood and old paper. Rebecca stood at the plaintiff's table, 3 black binders lined up like soldiers. Sarah sat on the defendant's side with her young attorney. She wore a plain gray dress, hair pulled back, no jewelry. She looked smaller than I remembered. At 9:02, Judge Harlan T. Willis took the bench. 68 years old, former Marine, known for short hearings and shorter patience. Rebecca called me first. I took the oath, sat in the witness chair, and spoke only when asked. Voice steady. Facts only. Rebecca walked me through the timeline. The $23,770 in withdrawals. The hotel charges. The video. I never raised my voice. I never looked at Sarah. The judge watched the 37-second clip on the laptop without expression. When it ended, he simply said, entered as Exhibit 12. Sarah's attorney tried to paint it as a moment of weakness. He called it private. Judge Willis reminded him that adultery is still grounds in North Carolina and that marital funds were used. The young man sat down quickly. Mark Whitlock testified next. 40 minutes of clear, calm numbers. Red columns on the projector screen. Every dollar traced. Every lie exposed. The judge asked only one question. In your professional opinion, was this systematic? Mark answered, yes, Your Honor. Over 7 months, deliberate and repeated. The gavel did not fall yet, but the room felt it coming. At 10:38, the judge ordered interim distribution from the bench. Sarah to repay $11,885 immediately, half the missing money, from her frozen half of the savings. Monthly temporary support set at $2,500 from me, offset by the repayment. The house remains mine exclusively until final decree. Lexus lease assigned solely to Sarah. She is responsible for all future payments. Pfizer severance forfeited due to cause. No alimony preview, reserved for final hearing. Sarah was given 10 minutes to confer with counsel. She signed the order at 10:51. Her hand shook slightly. The judge warned her attorney that any attempt to hide assets would result in sanctions. Court adjourned at 11:03. Rebecca and I walked out into the crisp November air. She said, that was textbook. Clean. Done. I thanked her, paid the final invoice on the spot, $18, $400 total for 4 weeks' work. Fair price for freedom. At 13:20 the Truist branch called. Sarah had transferred her $11,885 repayment at 12:47. Funds cleared my account by 13:05. I moved the money straight to the mortgage principal. Payment dropped from $3,180 to $3,089 starting December. Small victories add up. At 15:30 the Lexus dealership confirmed the lease was now in Sarah's name only. First payment due December 1st, $789. No cosigner. No grace period. At 16:10 the repo company placed it on watch list. If missed, they tow from wherever it sits. That evening I drove to Harris Teeter on Providence Road. Bought 2 New York strips, fresh asparagus, a bottle of Silver Oak Cabernet, $1.42. I cooked on the grill while the news played low in the background. No interruptions. No explanations needed. The house was quiet in the best way. Wednesday morning I received an email from the South Park apartment complex. Jason Keller missed November rent. $2, $650. 30-day notice issued. His Porsche was returned to Hendrick with 1,842 miles over allowance. Penalty fee $1,104. Charged to his personal card. Declined. Lien filed. Thursday at 14:20 Sarah's cousin texted me from the borrowed Honda. She's staying on my couch. Lost everything. Please talk to her. I replied once. All communication through attorneys. Then blocked the number. Friday I met with the financial advisor at Fidelity. Rolled Sarah's name off the joint brokerage. New account in my name only. Balance $428,000. I moved $100,000 into a 1-year CD at 4.85%. Steady growth. No risk. The rest stayed in the S&P 500 index fund. Same strategy for 19 years. It works. Saturday, I played golf again. Same 7:30 tee time. Shot 82. Best round in 2 years. The men in the group bought me a beer at the turn. Said nothing about Sarah. Just, good to see you back, David. That was enough. Sunday, I drove to Lake Norman. Sat on the dock behind Rebecca's house with her husband, Tom. We drank coffee, watched the water. He asked how I was holding up. I told him the truth. Better every day. The weight was gone. The future was mine to build. Monday morning the final piece arrived. Rebecca filed the proposed final decree. House to me. Equity $612,000 after mortgage. My 401k untouched. Her 401k untouched. Smaller balance. Her choice. No alimony. Clean split. Sarah keeps the Lexus and the debt. I keep the Tacoma and the peace. Hearing scheduled for January 14th, 2025. Judge Willis rarely changes his interim orders. This one will stand. I signed the papers at 9:30. Dropped them at the courthouse myself. Walked out at 9:48. The sky was clear. Temperature 61 degrees. I rolled the windows down on the drive home. The air felt new. The road was open. I had taken control the moment that video arrived. Now the law had finished what I started. Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, 13:55. Courtroom 5310 again. Same polished wood, same quiet weight in the air. Judge Willis entered at 1400 hours sharp. The hearing lasted 19 minutes. Sarah did not contest the decree. Her attorney stood, said only, "No objections, Your Honor." She kept her eyes on the table. The gavel fell at 1419. Marriage dissolved. Assets divided exactly as proposed. Certificate of absolute divorce effective immediately. Rebecca handed me the certified copy at 1425. I folded it once, placed it in the inside pocket of my suit coat, right over the heart. The building felt lighter as we walked out. She shook my hand on the courthouse steps. "You did this right, David. Clean. No scars." I nodded. That was the goal. At 1510, I stopped at the Register of Deeds on East 4th Street. Filed the quitclaim deed Sarah signed last week. House title now solely in my name. Mortgage updated by 1540. Monthly payment officially $3,089. No second name on anything. At 1630 the Lexus was towed from her cousin's driveway in Fort Mill. Payment missed again in December, missed again in January. Repo fee $485 added to the balance. Total due now $4,112 before they release it. Auction scheduled for January 28th unless paid in full. She will not pay. I know this the way I know load calculations. Wednesday morning, I removed the last traces. Donated her remaining clothes to Crisis Assistance Ministry. 6 garbage bags. Itemized receipt for taxes. Dropped the holiday tubs at Goodwill. Kept only the tools, the grill, the books I bought. The rest was never mine to begin with. Thursday, I changed the beneficiary forms at work. Life insurance, for 01k, pension, all to the trust for my nephews. Signed by 9/20. HR manager Linda said, "Smart move, David." I thanked her. She did not ask why. Friday at 17:30, I hosted the first poker night in the new year. Same 5 men from the club. We played Texas Hold'em at the kitchen island. Buy-in $50. I took the pot with a full house, queens over 8s. $320 total. We drank Budweiser and talked about interest rates, new drivers, and the upcoming Masters. No one mentioned Sarah. That chapter was closed. Saturday, I drove to Asheville. Left at 6 o'clock. Windows down on I-85, then up Highway 25. Checked into the Omni Grove Park Inn at 10:20. Spa appointment at 11 o'clock, 80-minute deep tissue. Lunch on the terrace overlooking the mountains. I read 3 chapters of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. No phone, no email, just stone, sky, and silence. Sunday, I hiked the Mountains to Sea Trail from Craggy Gardens to the Folk Art Center. 12 miles. Steady pace. Boots worn in but solid. At the end, my legs were tired, my mind clear. I ate a sandwich on a rock, drank water from the bottle, and watched the sun drop behind the ridges. The world is large. One man's problems are small. Monday, back at the office, I received the quarterly bonus notice. $44,700 before taxes. Direct deposit January 31st. I moved half straight to the mortgage principal. Payment dropped to $2,971 starting February. The house will be paid off in 8 years instead of 12. Numbers do not lie. Discipline does not betray. Tuesday evening, I grilled salmon on the big green egg. Asparagus. Wild rice. Glass of the silver oak left over from November. I ate on the deck, even though it was 48 degrees. The cold felt honest. The stars were sharp. I thought about the man I was 15 years ago, hopeful, trusting, building a life on shared promises. That man did not lose. He simply learned. Wednesday, the final bank statement arrived. Joint account closed January 10th. Final balance $0. 00. I shredded the paper copy. Deleted the app bookmark. Closed the chapter. Thursday, Jason Keller's Porsche sold at Mannheim, Charlotte for $68,300. Deficiency balance after lease payoff, $9,412. Collection agency called my old joint number, now disconnected. They will chase him for years. That is his weight to carry. Friday, I scheduled the first vacation alone in 20 years. August 2025. 10 days in Montana. Fly fishing the Gallatin River. Staying at the same lodge I used before Sarah. Cost $6,200. Booked with the same card that once paid for Miami. Points redeemed. Balance 0. Life moves forward, not in circles. Saturday, I played golf. Shot 79. Personal best on the new tees. The pro in the shop said, "You're swinging free, David." I knew exactly what he meant. Sunday morning, I sat on the back deck with coffee at 7:15. The grass was still brown, but the first hints of green waited underneath. Spring always comes. I opened the notebook I started in November. 1 line per day. Today's entry. Control is not taken. It is kept. I closed the book. Drank the coffee black. The day stretched open, clean and wide. I still live at 7218 Providence Road. The house is paid down to $312,000. The mortgage statement arrived last week showing $2,971 due on December 1st. I paid it early as always. The Tacoma sits in the garage, washed every Sunday at 9 o'clock. The grill is clean. The deck chairs face the 8th fairway exactly as I like them. Nothing is out of place. Nothing ever will be again. Sarah moved to a 1-bedroom apartment off Pineville Matthews Road. Rent $1,395. She took a job selling medical supplies for a smaller company. Base pay $68,000. No commissions yet. The Lexus was sold at auction in February. She received $11,200 after fees. She bought a 2017 Honda Civic with 92,000 miles. Cash. Title in her name only. She makes the payments to herself now, meaning she makes them on time. Jason Keller left Charlotte in March. Moved back to Ohio. Works for his uncle's construction supply company. Salary $54,000. Lives in the basement. The deficiency judgment from the Porsche follows him. Credit score 612. He will carry that weight for 7 years. Maybe longer. I turned 48 in April. The office threw a quiet lunch. Sheet cake from Publix. Gift card to Home Depot. I used it to buy a new Weber kettle grill. I still play golf every Saturday at 7:30. Still shoot in the low 80s. Still buy the beer at the turn when I win the pot. The men call me Steady Dave. I like the name. It fits. Rebecca sent the final bill in February. Total legal fees, $21,300. I paid it the same day. She included a handwritten note. You taught me how calm strength looks. Thank you. I keep the note in the top drawer of the desk. Beside the certified divorce decree. I never blocked Sarah's number. She never called. Once, in June, she mailed a postcard from Myrtle Beach. No return address. Just 3 words. I am sorry. I read it once. Placed it in the evidence box in the attic. Then forgot it. The nephews came for 2 weeks in July. Ages 11 and 13. We fished at Lake Norman. Grilled burgers. Watched the Braves on the back deck. I taught them how to check the oil in the Tacoma. How to swing a 7-iron smooth. They left with new fishing rods and the promise to come back next summer. The trust now holds $1,410,000. It grows quietly while they grow up. I still cook chili on Sundays when the weather turns cool. Still pour 2 fingers of Woodford, neat, on Friday nights. Still read on the deck until the light fades. The house is silent, but it is not empty. It is full of order, full of choices I made and kept. Men ask me sometimes, quietly over coffee or on the first tee, how I got through it without losing myself. I give them the same answer every time. 3 short sentences. 1 slower line. I never shouted. I never chased. I simply stopped carrying what was not mine. Peace is not given. It is claimed. That is the whole story. From the moment the video arrived at 14:37 on October 12, 2024 to this morning, November 10, 2025, when I drank my coffee and watched the frost melt off the fairway. 1 year. Clean division. Clear path. If you take nothing else from this, take this. A man who controls himself controls everything that matters. The rest is just noise. If you like this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts below. Haven't subscribed yet? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.